Hello, hello, and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox on the Series X, and this is DWolfie1 Plays, part 2 of my build of the mobile base. I've done a little bit of work off camera on the cockpit, or the helm, or the bridge, whatever you want to call it, and I've used these sloped bridge windows, which are really, really cool. Added a door, and the rest is pretty much the same as it was before. What we have, though, is some attachment points for thrusters, and we're going to be adding some landing gear to make this all work nicely. And so, without waffling on, we're going to jump right into this and get going. So I want landing gear, and I'm looking at large magnetic plates, and I want to bring them in basically about 1 block from the front. So remember, this isn't really a symmetrical build, it's not a symmetrical ship, and I must admit I'm fond of asymmetrical things in the Space Engineers anyway. So we're just gonna block and a block. Pop on there. And that's the 4 magnetic plates. You see, the magnetic plates make really good landing gear just out of the gate without any extra additional detailing. But you can put additional details on them. You can put blocks around them to make them look more interesting. But this is a mobile base, not a ship. But we'll detail that right near the end of the video series anyway. We've got that. We're going to save. Hold down both bumpers, tap X, and we'll quick save. Quick saving is always useful when you're playing like this. And remember, I'm playing in survival with RB and Y. Creative mode tools on. So, next thing we want to look at is our thruster placements. And we're going to be using the sci-fi thrusters, the large science fiction Atmos. So, the moment that you put these on, these thrusters are going to be drawing power. Remember, our little grid is only drawing power from a very small generation system here. So what we want to do is, the moment that we've got all these on here, is again a quick save. We'll dive onto the helm. One of the other reasons I've built the helm out. Hop into the control panel, find your first thruster, and just select all 4 of these. Press X, turn them off. That way you're not wasting any stored power or pulling from that grid. And so we are almost looking good. Got our landing gear for now, and we've got our thrusters. These 4 should provide enough lift. We will be putting front, back, side thrusters on as well, because the last thing you want to do is take flight without those, because what happens is the ship will literally just drift in a direction and you'll be in trouble. Okay. let's look at potential height. Our height here is determined by the fact that we want a drill bay. I want to put it somewhere central on this, and in that case I want at least 1 or 2 blocks high here in the ceiling for this. And at some point I'm going to break that line and probably drop a connector somewhere amongst this lot so that we get an external little scout flyer as well, like the one we're using over here. We can easily pop that on top and have that connect, the same as any cargo ships, to bring resources to be processed here. We can drop a little connector on the top. Let's look at the height though. So we've got the height of our back wall here, and that's going to inform us on the rest of the design. And really, as I said, it's a mobile base. It's going to be probably about 3 more blocks high. It may seem quite big, but it's going to replace my standard base. So I don't mind having more space inside. That will give us that much height there. And we're going to build out our roof off that. And bear in mind, like I said, you can build in plane mode, and plane mode when you're playing with creative on is good. And I've just noticed somebody's watching. Hello there. Good morning from the United Kingdom. This is going to be, let's see, go plane mode. Why not? Select our block, and then we can get our roof and just pull it back. Keep pulling it back, move across until you're happy. Doesn't have to go all the way. You can literally drop it there like that. And the same deal goes for this. I want to, yeah, why not? We will go, yeah, I might do that. Let's have a think. How high do I want this? That would be there. Let's go for a ceiling like so. We'll refine that after. It gives me a rough idea where things are. In fact, we'll go back to building with line mode. So that's our front there. And one of the reasons I love doing this is that it's great fun just to sit back and play the game for once, rather than doing any kind of real tutorial. I can just throw some blocks down, see what happens. Which is the essence of Space Engineers, I feel. Throwing blocks down and seeing what happens. Always remember to go back to the default block. Since we have quick save on the Space Engineers, just quick save now and then. I always turn auto save off these days. And we could build in symmetry mode too, but I want to build asymmetrically. We've got our kind of front bit of our base. I said I wouldn't detail it, but it's not too bad. I quite like that. Lots of fun playing around with the top. But we've got our box. We've got our height. And we're going to have our connection here to a drill bay. And the other good reasons for doing this as well, and getting all of the exterior walls sorted, is really so that we can see how heavy this is going to be in terms of blocks. Are these 4 thrusters here going to be enough to lift it? Whatever you do, by the way, don't cut that block there while the ship has no thrusters, because it's just going to fall down. But also while the ship has no batteries, because if you cut that block at this point, there is nothing generating power on this thing at all. So we're going to remedy that. And the other reason I wanted to get it done like this is so that I can have the generation at the top here sorted out. The higher, the better in terms of wind. I usually build between 12 to 18 blocks and then come down a block, as you can see with that tower, and put these like this. It is possible you could build a similar thing on here. It should work, which would give us wind turbines. But you'll hear people say that a mobile grid like this won't work in terms of generating power because wind turbines stop working. This is true, but since this is a Dwarfy One Plays, have a look down my list of things. I think I have my original mobile Atmo factory miner, which I built for Earth-like. Let's find a place to paste it in. And it should hover there quite nicely. As you can see, this is an old build. It's using, however, these multi-junction solar arrays as a mod. They are really good. They provide a nice amount of power. If you're building vanilla, then you're going to be building this with the bog standards. But if I just nip aboard this for now, and you'll see it's also got the internal drill bay I was talking about, although it's a very small system compared to you can do. Just move this thing around a second. And it was also built before the magnetic landing gear. So you could also put a camera underneath it to make it easier to land. But we'll just pop it down on the ground anywhere on Pertum. Noticed that, I think. Yep, we've got some iron beneath us and some silicon. We'll just pop you anywhere there. Right. Back here. And we can turn off our thrusters. Set that down on the ground. And we can lock the landing gear. When we lock the landing gear, we make a connection to the ground from the mobile grid. And now, as you can see, our wind turbines, excuse me, are functioning, providing a slow generation of power to this little mobile digger and refinery. So if anybody tells you that a mobile grid cannot use wind turbines, they're wrong. As long as the landing gear are locked and you're providing a connection to the ground, you're all good. There you go. So back to our box on thrusters, our base. We're going to think about power generation after I just fix this little thing here that is making me sad. I need a slope here, at least, for the aesthetics. Okay. So we could look at building this. What you have to think about as well is your clearance of, if you're going to have anything dock at the top. And this should give us optimal wind turbines. So the more you put on it, the more weight it's going to have. But honestly, you're not looking to leave the atmosphere of Pertum. You're just looking to move over the planet and use this as a mobile base. Maybe prospect for some more, like there. I was using the azimuth overclocked ore detectors as well, which are another mod. And so this is a mix of mods and non-mods. If you're playing this vanilla-wise, then you're going to have the build with the regular things that are available. Now, we can't put one there and one there. For a start, it won't give us the clearance we want, so we'll just delete that. We'll just have the forward, the backward, top, and the side as our generation. These won't work until the grid is connected to the ground, as you saw. And there we go. And we can slap some solar panels on here as well. And as I said, I can either use the modded or the non-modded. For this, I will be using the regular solar panels. And you have a look, solar panels. We can fit. There. Thinking the best way of doing this, I might do one there, might draw a line of solar panels. But to inform that, I need to know where my connectors are going to be in the roof as well. So I want to look at that next. Well, we've got a rough line here. And we can draw a set of connectors up from here, as long as we leave enough room at the top. Well, that's what I'm going to do. You can use a junction. It might be an idea to use a conveyor junction here, or build a tube upwards and then drop in your conveyor junction here. That way then, if you need to spin off this particular refinery, you can go kind of any direction. And then you can come along onto here. And we're going to do a curve. You can tell that the enclosed curved cubes have the C on them. Pop that out there like that. So that will give us, I think, the line. Maybe have to come one more. I think it's one more. It's another great reason for playing in creative. You could also use the heavy industry conveyor tubes as well. They are particularly cool. I want a drill pit somewhere in the center. We can look at pulling the conveyor tube all the way along as far as we want, really. And again, terminate that with the conveyor junction, and once again, fuel low. If you've got the ice and if you've got hydrogen bottles, all you need to do in that case, come over here to your survival kit and then go to your generator, throw your bottles in, and all I'm doing is just pressing A on each one in turn. If you're wanting to see that in more detail, you can pop by my survival series or my new player guides, then watch my new player guide to survival. It goes through the whole process of landing on planet and doing all that good stuff. So looking at this, maybe one move this whole set of conveyors another couple of blocks forward. This is another good reason to play around on creative mode, even if you're playing survival and you're just getting started, just so you can prototype things and see how they all work. Because if you do play in core creative mode, then you're going to find things like batteries like this don't charge properly. They will literally just charge to maximum, and that's it. You won't get any of the proper power generation. Also, though, with creative, you will use hydrogen fuel these days. That was changed. Hydrogen will be used in creative mode if you play in core creative. So, okay, that's our sort of setup there. So we know our drill's going to come somewhere along there. But to do that, I really need to look at more power generation, and there's a reason that spot on, did that. I'm going to throw another junction in, even though it's there. Connector on. So that we know there is our connector, and that's where anything can come down. When you build a connector like this as well, what you can do to make it more friendly for a little ship or a vehicle is you can, if you want, you could build a set of blocks around it. If you wanted to look like a platform, you could even build a set of inverted blocks like this. But bear in mind, that will be trickier to do. What you might want to do is just build regular blocks, because if you're going to have a larger ship land on something like this, then something like even simple 3x3 give you a better platform. There's lots of sun here, so we could go a bit overboard with solar panels. So we could draw a line of solar panels here and a line of solar panels here. And then we have to decide as well, how many batteries is this thing going to take? That's going to be an interesting one, because something like 50 batteries on a build like this will probably give you about 3 hours of nominal flight, or rather hover. It would stay for about 3 hours. If it's moving, that would probably go down to 45 minutes to half an hour. Again, though, that's lift, where you'd be using all of these thrusters. And what we want to think about is, where are we going to put the batteries? Well, we could put them in the ceiling for a start. And again, it depends how many batteries you want. I could demonstrate, for instance, I could put in, let's say, just for the record, let's grab some batteries, and let's make them the warfare batteries as well. They do look cool. 1, 3, 4, 10. So 10 batteries there, right? What did I say? 50, 20, 30, 40, and down a bit, 50. We've got 50 batteries, and these will be fully recharged at the moment in 2 days, because they're pulling in off the sun. Let's just save that anyway. But if we go and have a look at the helm now, and we just turn back on our large science fiction Atmos, spin up, 2 hours. So I wasn't far off of, and remember, that's also being bolstered by our connected grid. But if I hit the thrusters, 49 minutes and 51 minutes. So that is going to need to be potentially improved. We can improve that. Let's I don't want to put these onto a group yet, because I haven't got enough and I want to do them all at once. So it's fairly easy just to do it like that. These bridge windows are really cool. So, yeah, getting there. So that is a wall of 50 batteries. One thing we must remember as well is the weight of this thing, if you look, is without any cargo or anything being processed whatsoever. Again, though, doesn't really matter as long as we can get lift and this thing slowly floats across the sky of Pertum. We can put it down near rich resource deposits, so we're not wasting time and fuel going backwards and forwards, say from the Cobble. we can do that quite easily. That, though, is a good place, I think, to begin the next video, because I only want these to be about half an hour or so, even if it turns into a series of smaller videos, so to speak. I mean, I'd like to play for several hours. Maybe at one point I'll just play the game and stream it without doing a video. It's all potential. But once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. We are closing in on 2,000. Once we do hit 2,000, me and my buddy Paul Thompson, Butcher Boy, Tomer, over on the official, on our official YouTube channels, we're going to release the Star Wars All-Terrain Armoured Transport, the AT-AT, that Paul has made. And believe you me, if you've seen the videos of that thing, it's impressive. But that's if we can hit 2,000 subscribers on this channel. A nice little gift for everybody. It's not going to be restricted. We're just going to pop. It'll appear on Mod.io once that 2,000 subscribers is reached. Until then, though, keep watching the skies and the Keen official channels for Grid AI, because I only know a smidgen of what's coming with Grid AI. I cannot tell you because I am under non-disclosure agreement. It is going to be epic. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and it's going to give me fuel for lots of videos, and everybody is going to be building anew. Until then, though, stay safe, take care, have fun, enjoy the game. Lots more to come on Space Engineers, on the Xbox, on the Series X. From me, DWolfie1, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Bye for now.